On our website, you can get PDF learning materials for free. Please visit englist.me.
Invisible.
Impossible or nearly impossible to see.
Examples:
An invisible asset. Invisible stars. The phenomenon is invisible at optical wavelengths.
Novel.
An extended fictional work in prose, usually in the form of a story. Adjective, original and of a kind not seen before.
Examples:
Historical novel. Novel effect. The novel has largely gotten positive feedback.
Perspective.
A certain attitude towards something, a particular style of thinking about something.
Examples:
A perspective view. Perspective of the battle. His father's death changed his whole perspective on life.
Transform.
To change an outward structure or looks.
Examples:
Transform an education system. Transform heat into power. My father's death transformed my life completely.
Fairy tale.
A type of story that typically involves magic, traditional folklore, or fantastical elements, often features talking animals, enchanted objects, and heroic characters who overcome obstacles to achieve their goals.
Examples:
Fairy tale romance. Popular fairy tale. The children's book was a fairy tale about a princess and her journey to find true love.
Unbraid.
To undo the braids equals a woven structure created by intertwining 3 or more strands of material, such as hair, fabric, rope, or thread, or plates, to separate the strands of something that has been braided.
Examples:
Unbraid the thick ropes. Carefully unbraid. She carefully began to unbraid her daughter's hair, starting at the bottom.
Sling.
To throw or drop something somewhere carelessly, to hang loosely or freely. Noun, a length of rope, fabric, or chain used to support or lift something.
Examples:
Sling an arrow. Slingshot. The children were playing by slinging stones at the monument.
Tress.
A long lock or strand of hair, especially a woman's.
Examples:
Loose tress. Curly tress. She braided her long tresses into a beautiful fishtail braid.
Tower.
A structure that is exceptionally high in proportion to its width and either forms part of a building or stands alone.
Examples:
A bell tower. The tower on a cliff. She is a tower of strength for our team in trouble.
Typical.
Having the usual characteristics or traits of a specific group of things.
Examples:
Typical leader. Fairly typical symptoms. This artwork is typical of her work.
Narrator.
A person who tells a story, especially in a book or film.
Examples:
First-person narrator. The narrator of the TV program. The narrator makes use of the local dialect.
Plop.
A short and soft sound like that of a small object dropping into water without a splash. Verb, drop with the sound of something falling into water.
Examples:
Loud plop. Plop of water. The ball fell into the water with a plop.
Grab.
To take hold of something or someone suddenly with a hand, especially in a violent way.
Examples:
Grab an audience. Grab an opportunity. Shall we grab a bite to eat?
Untangle.
To separate or straighten out something that is tangled, confused, or complicated, to clarify or make sense of something difficult to understand or explain.
Examples:
Untangle a situation. Untangle a problem. I need to untangle this knot before using this rope piece.
Strand.
A very thin natural or synthetic thread, wire, hair, etc. Verb, to leave or drive a vessel, fish, etc., aground or ashore.
Examples:
A strand of fine hair. Double-strand DNA. I heard several melodic strands simultaneously.
Stick.
To put something, usually a sharp object, into something, noun, a thin piece of wood or other material.
Examples:
Stick a key in a lock. Fire stick. You stick a bill in the change machine, and the coins pop out.
Sweat.
The salty liquid that is produced by the glands in the skin, especially when the body is hot or under stress.
Examples:
All in a sweat. Sweat bath. She wiped the sweat off her forehead with a towel.
Narrative.
A story or a description of a series of events or process of telling a story.
Examples:
Narrative poetry. Personal narrative. The narrative handles multiple plot lines and has unpredictable ends.
Dramatically.
In a very impressive manner.
Examples:
He confessed dramatically. The cabin pressure fell dramatically. Life expectancy has grown dramatically this century.
Narrate.
To tell a story or give an account of events, often in a chronological or logical sequence. To provide a voiceover or commentary for a film or other media.
Examples:
Narrate a news article. narrate an event. The audiobook hired a professional actor to narrate the story, making it more engaging for listeners.
Appreciate.
To value and acknowledge the worth of someone or something, to be grateful for something or someone.
Examples:
Appreciate her feedback. Appreciate the value. We would appreciate an early reply.
Scalp.
The skin that covers the top of a person's head, together with the hair growing on it, also, the part of the body that is most vulnerable to an attack.
Examples:
Scalp massage. Scalp condition. I have an itchy scalp and need to switch to a different shampoo.
Stretch.
To make or be capable of making anything longer or broader without hurting or breaking.
Examples:
Stretch along the coast. Stretch a story. Some herds have been observed to stretch hundreds of kilometers.
Skull.
A bone framework that surrounds the brain and gives the head its shape.
Examples:
Skull fracture. Have a thick skull. Archaeologists found a Neanderthal skull at that historic site.
Yell.
To shout in a sudden and loud way.
Examples:
Yell for help. Yell as loud as we can. When I asked my father for more money, he became furious and yelled at me.
Braid.
A complex pattern, design, or plait formed out of 3 or more strands, often used decoratively in hair, clothing, or textiles, threads of silk, cotton, or other material attached to clothes, uniforms, or other things made of cloth, as a decoration.
Examples:
Braid hair. Elastic cord braid. She always wore her hair in a single braid down her back.
Possibility.
A chance that something may happen or be true.
Examples:
Possibility for growth. Possibility of a major earthquake. The possibility of getting the disease will drastically increase.
Constraint.
A limit or restriction on something, such as an action, behavior, or thought.
Examples:
Constraint on business activity. Strict time constraints. The budget constraint forced them to make difficult decisions.
Necessarily.
In an essential manner, in such a way as could not be otherwise.
Examples:
Not necessarily a problem. Necessarily true. This accident was something that happened necessarily.
Highlight.
To make something prominent, mainly so that people give it more attention.
Examples:
Highlight a string in red. Highlight an important difference. The introduction highlighted the speaker's distinguished career as a consultant.
Distance.
The amount of space between 2 points, measured in units such as miles, meters, or kilometers, the extent, scope, or range between two things, such as distance or emotional distance.
Examples:
Driving distance, social distance. The marathon runner covered a long distance in a short amount of time.
Omniscient.
Having complete or unlimited knowledge, awareness, or understanding.
Examples:
Omniscient being, omniscient point of view. An omniscient narrator knows everything about the story and the characters.
Flit.
To move quickly and lightly from place to place, often without purpose or direction. To flutter or dart quickly, like a bird or insect.
Examples:
Flit away into the darkness. Flit from place to place. The butterfly would flit from flower to flower, collecting nectar.
Restricted.
Limited in extent, number, scope, or action, especially by official rules, laws, etc.
Examples:
Restricted area. Lactose restricted diet. The country has designated our products as restricted import goods.
Suspense.
A state of uncertain or anxious anticipation or waiting, a feeling of excitement or apprehension that arises from the uncertainty of an outcome.
Examples:
Suspense thriller. Suspense-filled movie. The mystery novel was full of suspense, keeping readers on the edge of their seats until the end.
Represent.
To speak, act, or be present on behalf of another person or group, to form or constitute.
Examples:
Represent by a diagram. The characters that represent numbers. We elected him to represent us at the international conference.
Faithful.
Loyal, constant, and steadfast in affection or allegiance.
Examples:
Faithful friend. Totally faithful. He remained faithful to his wife throughout their marriage.
Delusion.
A false belief or impression that is firmly held despite evidence to the contrary.
Examples:
Grand delusion. Labor under a delusion. He had a delusion that he was a millionaire.
Dishonest.
Capable of being corrupted, not honest.
Examples:
Dishonest politicians. Promote dishonest behavior. Often in drama, dishonest personalities gain popularity.
Remains.
The leftover parts or pieces of something that have been destroyed, removed, or consumed, the physical or biological remains of a deceased person, plant, animal.
Examples:
Remains of a building. Human remains. The remains of the ancient civilization can still be seen in the city's ruins.
Butler.
A male servant in charge of serving food and drinks and taking care of household duties.
Examples:
Butler service. Household butler. The personal butler announced that dinner was ready, and the guests went to the dining room.
Recount.
To describe what happened or to narrate a story.
Examples:
Recount the adventure. Recount a conversation with him. They recount events that have already occurred.
Acknowledge.
To accept or admit the existence, reality, or truth of something. To accept that someone or something has a particular authority or quality. To express obligation, thanks, or gratitude for someone's help, commitment, etc.
Examples:
Acknowledge the deed. Acknowledge his help. He never acknowledged his fault.
Flaw.
A fault, mistake, or weakness that causes something not to be perfect.
Examples:
A minor flaw. The flaw in the legislation. Even the slightest design flaw in an aircraft can lead to a fatal accident.
Crack.
To break or cause to break without dividing into separate parts. Noun, a line on the surface of something along which it is separated without breaking.
Examples:
Crack an eggshell. A crack in a board. He that would eat the kernel must crack the nut.
Eventually.
Finally, particularly after a long time or a lot of struggle, complications, and so on.
Examples:
Eventually become obsolete. Eventually succeed. The corporation eventually dominated the entire tobacco business.
Acknowledged.
Recognized or admitted as being true or valid.
Examples:
Acknowledged beauty. Publicly acknowledged truth. His acknowledged expertise in the field earned him the respect of his peers.
Inhabit.
To live in a specific location, to reside.
Examples:
Inhabit a cave. Inhabit the stomach. I have no idea what sort of folks inhabit the neighborhood.
Plural.
The grammatical form of a noun or pronoun indicating that it refers to more than one thing or person.
Examples:
Plural form. Plural culture. We use plural nouns when there is more than one of something.
Snatch.
To take or grab something suddenly or quickly.
Examples:
Snatch a hasty meal. snatch up her purse. He snatches victory from the jaws of defeat in the game's final seconds.
Stomp.
To walk heavily and noisily, often with a rhythmical sound, to dance with a rhythmical step.
Examples:
Stomp off to the room. Stomp on his foot. The children stomped their feet in time to the music.
Feud.
A bitter argument between two parties, causing a lot of anger or violence.
Examples:
Family feud. Carry out a feud. The retired politician resolved the feud between groups through mediation.
Shift.
A slight transition in position, direction, or trend.
Examples:
Doppler shift. Major paradigm shift. Could you help me shift some furniture?
Singular.
Being only one of its kind, unique.
Examples:
Singular purpose. Singular goal. The singular beauty of the night sky never ceases to amaze him.
Alienated.
Feeling isolated, estranged, or disconnected from others, often due to a sense of difference or lack of belonging.
Examples:
Alienated from my parents. Become alienated. The new employee felt alienated from the rest of the team as they didn't try to include him in their conversations.
Suspend.
To stop something from continuing or being in force or effect, either temporarily or permanently, to hang something freely.
Examples:
Suspend a decision. Suspend fruits from the ceiling. The university suspended the most recalcitrant demonstrators.
Disbelief.
The feeling of not being able to believe or accept that something is true or real.
Examples:
Disbelief in the authority. Ask in disbelief. His reaction was one of complete disbelief.
Urgency.
The quality of being very important and needing to be dealt with immediately.
Examples:
Urgency in the use of force. Matter of urgency. She departed hurriedly because of some significant urgency in their affairs.
Intent.
A strong determination or attention to do or achieve something. Adjective, having a strong determination to do or achieve something.
Examples:
The intent of a question. Intent gaze. The designer's intent was to create a minimalist aesthetic for the interior of the building.
Refer.
To direct someone's attention, thoughts, or questions to another source or person, to mention, cite, or allude to something as evidence or support.
Examples:
Refer to a book. Refer to a map. Please refer to the instruction manual for further assistance.
Writ.
A written legal order or command.
Examples:
A writ of summons. Issue a writ. He was served with a writ of eviction, giving him the notice to vacate the property.
Constantly.
All the time.
Examples:
A constantly innovative enterprise. A constantly varying mind. The mobile application industry is constantly changing.
Experiment.
The scientific test conducted to observe what happens and gain new knowledge.
Examples:
Experiment design. Series of experiments. His experiments showed highly positive results.
Variation.
The act or state of changing, a difference or change in the way something is done, made, or said.
Examples:
Variation of temperature. Gene variation. There is a lot of variation in the colors of flowers in the garden.
Virtual.
Being actually such in almost every respect, existing in essence or effect, though not an actual fact.
Examples:
A virtual image. Trading of virtual currencies. She is the virtual president of the company.
Augment.
To increase the size, extent, quantity, etc. of something by adding something to it.
Examples:
Augment the reality. Augment immunity. Economic factors and monetary policy augmented inflation.
Expand.
To increase or to make something greater in size, number, or importance.
Examples:
Expand a lineup. Expand agricultural output. They hope to expand their business worldwide.
Vantage.
A position or place that provides a commanding or advantageous view or perspective, a favorable position or advantage.
Examples:
Strategic vantage. Gain advantage. From our vantage point, we could see the whole city skyline.